The national park system is truly one of our greatest national treasures, offering endless opportunities for adventure, appreciating the beauty of nature, and making memories. Hey, this is Rob. I wanted to make this video because there's been a lot of frustration and some confusion recently in the YouTube creator community regarding the legality of recording video in the national parks and then posting that content on YouTube. Several recent videos have described a scary legal situation where if you post national park video, you could face large fines or even jail time, unless you've obtained an expensive commercial filming permit from the Park Service in advance. However, I've found a simple way to get permission to record and post national park videos with no permit and no fee. In this video, I'll describe my experience applying for commercial filming permits in 9 national parks using an approach that I haven't heard discussed by anyone else. Right now, in the spring of 2023, a challenge to the law requiring commercial filming permits is working its way through a federal appeals court. Several other YouTubers have already described the history of that case, so I won't repeat it here. Instead, let's go straight to the current policy. The Park Service website says that under federal law, all commercial filming in the national park system requires a permit, and they define commercial filming as essentially any recording of moving images with the intent of generating revenue. It doesn't seem to matter whether or not a channel is monetized because YouTube derives revenue from posted videos even if the creator doesn't. And the Park Service website specifically identifies individuals that are filming and posting park footage to YouTube as an example of commercial filming which requires a permit. The thing that doesn't make a lot of sense about this policy as it might apply to individuals like me is that while it's legal to film in the parks and it's legal to post park footage to YouTube, the Park Service is essentially saying that the legal act of filming becomes a crime later if you post your footage on YouTube, unless you were granted a commercial filming permit before you went to the park. Consider the example where 2 people visit the Grand Canyon. They see a mountain goat walking along the rim, and they each record a brief video on their phones. When they get home, the first person shows it to his friends and family, while the second person also posts it to YouTube because she thinks other people might also be interested in seeing it. According to the Park Service explanation of the law, the second person committed illegal filming without a permit, but the first person didn't, even though they did exactly the same thing on the day they were in the park. Now, I don't seek out controversy or conflict. I'm just trying to live out my best life for as long as I get to be here, without worrying about potential legal problems in the future. So I decided to apply for filming permits from the Park Service. Here's the Yellowstone permit application. I found it on their website, and this form is very similar across all the parks. It says in the first paragraph that a processing fee of $350 is required unless the requested use is an exercise of a First Amendment right. The First Amendment to the Constitution says that Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. In my situation, as an independent creator filming park scenery, recording my thoughts and impressions, and then publishing that content on YouTube, I'm just exercising my right to freedom of speech and freedom to act as a journalist reporting on what I see and experience in our public lands. The First Amendment is not canceled just because individuals or journalists or even YouTube gets paid for their work. Now, I wanted to make it as easy as possible for the Park Service to approve my permits. So in the application, I stated that I would be by myself using only handheld cameras. I would only be on park property, which is open to the general public. I would be filming park scenery while speaking to the camera and then posting the content on YouTube. My activity in the park would be no different from that of any normal visitor. And I included a statement that since this activity is protected under the First Amendment, I would not be paying any processing fee. I'll include the text of what I wrote in my applications and how the Park Service responded down below in the post description. I mailed applications to 9 parks in Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, and South Dakota. After 2 months, 7 of them have responded, and it's not quite what I expected. The first surprise was that all 7 parks said exactly the same thing, and I was glad that the various parks are all on the same page with this issue. But the bigger surprise was that they all said that the activities that I described in my application do not constitute commercial filming under federal law, and therefore I don't need to obtain a permit or pay any associated fees. The letters I received were signed by permit office employees, park rangers, all the way up to park superintendent. As a result, the parks did not actually process my permit applications. Instead, they gave me assurance that I didn't need any permit. And I think this is actually a better result, because now that I have written clarification of park policy for my particular situation, I'm not going to apply for permits at any other parks that I might visit, record video, and then post to YouTube, as long as my activities correspond to what I described in the applications that I had earlier filed in other parks. And in the unlikely event in the future that the Park Service questions me or tries to assess a fine for not having a filming permit, I can show them this stack of letters from park officials telling me that I don't need one. For me, this is really a great day for the freedom to travel, record, and share my experiences in our spectacular public lands without being harassed about permits. Now, having said that, it's important to keep in mind that there will be situations where the Park Service would have a legitimate case for requiring a filming permit, especially for larger scale activities that might interfere with other park visitors or disrupt park operations or possibly have an impact on park land. Now, I'm not a lawyer and nothing here is legal advice. I'm just passing along my own experiences. But if someone wants to film and post national park footage, it's easy to send in a permit application describing what you're planning to do with a First Amendment claim and without the fee, and then see how the Park Service responds. In my case, all it cost was the price of a few stamps, and now I have the peace of mind knowing that numerous park officials whose job it is to determine who does and who doesn't need a permit have stated in writing that I don't need one. Okay, everybody, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Keep on finding your joy, and I'll see you in the next one.